Welcome back, guys. That was a fantastic best of 3 we just saw back there.
For sure. I mean, Alive surprising everyone. I think Youngster was clear favorite that game. And Alive, the coaching staff of the Freak of Freaks, Legend, they devised such a great game plan for that series, and we saw Alive take those games 2-0.
I love the Ghost strat. I don't know how long that's going to sustain if the Protoss plays better, but anything that's new, that's cool, that makes us view the game differently, man, I'm all for that.
For sure. As we'll move on to our next series, we have here herO versus Hurricane, and these players are really, really good. I mean, it's really surprising to see CJ herO in the losers bracket. Hurricane playing last week. Unfortunately could not win his winners bracket match, but PvP has changed so much from Heart of the Swarm, where we saw that primarily Colossus play into a lot of disruptors, a lot of stalkers, and those disruptor shots are like the most exciting thing to see in that matchup.
Yeah, this matchup has radically changed. Let's see how these two players do against each other. I think most people would say herO's the favorite here, but it's a best of 3.
Best of 3, and anything could happen. And honestly, I think these players are more closer than we'd say maybe a few months ago when Heart of the Swarm was about to end. And we're just going to go to an interview right here.
Let's see what they think before this match.
잠은 잘 잤어요.
그 차에 오면서 차 타고 오면서 무슨 생각했어요?
그냥 되게 편했어요. 별로 아무 생각도 안 들고 그냥 오늘 잘하자 그런 생각했어요.
혹시 지옥에서 살아던 기분?
지옥이었나요? 올라가야죠.
그냥 오늘 이길 수 있을 것 같아요?
솔직히 연습하면서 분위기는 너무 안 좋고 많이 지고 또 최근에 감기 몸살 걸려가지고 아팠었는데 그래도 동구 형이 스타리그 우승자는 다음 시즌에 16강에서 떨어진다고 그런 말을 해주시더라고요. 그 힘이 되시는 말을 하니까 뭔가 자신감이 있는 것 같아요 지금.
네, 그럼 오늘 각오 맞아.
후회 없이 연습했으니까 최선을 다해서 경기하도록 하겠습니다.
네, 감사합니다.
All right, so I think that's actually herO now that wins for the most awkward entrance ever. I felt like I was watching TMZ there.
Yeah, I was like,
you ever seen these videos?
Yeah, like just follows them and they try to ignore the camera.
I'm just watching this and I'm thinking, like, you know, when I've been on YouTube late at night and I end up, you know, when you get stuck in these portals of watching video after video.
Yeah, and you just
somehow I'm watching people filming Brad Pitt with his family going to the, you know, getting to a taxi out of the airport, and I'm like, who's doing this? I had a bit of that vibe there. I guess not all the players knew they had to talk to the camera person when they came in.
I have a feeling it's like some sort of in-joke, because in Korea, herO is known as like the invisible Protoss. He has these results. He plays really well, but not that many people talk about him, right? Because there's players like Zest, like SOS, who do really well in tournaments as well, and they get more notoriety for how they play. So maybe
there might be a bit more marketability there for them. You know, these guys, we don't watch them because they're necessarily that charismatic. A lot of it's just because they're so good at what they do.
Game, yeah.
All right, well, we are now going into our second best of 3. Let's do this, a PvP here. Let's go. We are on. In the upper right, in the red, our Protoss player. I don't know which player it is. Let's find out. It's herO.
Well, the fangirls are out here. You can hear the screams.
Not too shocking. He is a sharp-looking fellow. His opponent down here in the bottom right, in the blue, Hurricane.
Oh, and Hurricane fangirls here as well, so both these players having their fangirls here, supporting them here at the SSL.
Yeah, in fact, we got a pretty packed studio right now.
As we see here.
And we have, oh, sorry, go ahead, please.
Yep, so the game has started. Both players opting for their builds. We see the first deviation here is that Hurricane going for those 2 gateways instead of herO's 1 gateway. It means that when he gets that 2nd gateway, his cybernetics core is slightly delayed, but it means that he can get those adepts out quicker than if you stick on that 1 gateway play.
Yeah, and to get the 2 adepts out early on, that's a good way to start forcing the other player to begin reacting to what you're doing. And I think this is just a smart play overall. Out of all the ways you can open PvP, this is the way I prefer to do it. Is it the best? Not entirely sure. We're still seeing PvP unravel. And it's in fact going to be a Stalker and an Adept here. That's very interesting.
That's really interesting, actually. Maybe he just wants that Stalker out to help defend from the initial depth of herO while using his own Adept to scout out herO's base.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a possibility. We see herO actually teching up to the Stargate. Let's keep our eyes peeled for what else comes out of the gateways here. That's going to be a very strong indicator of what exactly Hurricane's got in store for us.
See both players sending out those shades to get that extra edge, and we're going to see these. Oh, I thought we'd see those adepts hug each other, but it looks like they're just going to poke their balls against each other. The shade there getting cancelled as the Stalker's actually going to do a lot of damage to these adepts. Actually.
Yeah, as you can see, the Stalker's a little bit quicker. He can actually circumvent the Stalker. Nicely done. That's really cool. As the game moves forward here, Robo Bay about halfway done, and Adept already shading into the main. I assume he's just going to use this to scout, as he does now back up. And he's going to see exactly what his opponent's up to.
And as we see that Stalker going back from Hurricane back to his expansion, puts down that Nexus. So we're going to see an economical build here from Hurricane. I really like that Stalker as well because it's going to help deflect the incoming Oracle that herO's building. And Pilot Council will follow up from herO as well, so his has no plan of expanding anytime soon.
Yeah, it looks to me like herO wants to really put the pressure on here, and with that proxy pylon already set up, he could do some serious damage over here. The Oracle's coming up now. We also see that Phoenixes are being made, along with the Twilight Council, so right now herO staying heavy on 1 base, and he may be trying to end this game in the next maybe 3 to 4 minutes.
Meanwhile, Hurricane opting for a War Prism actually from that Robotics Bay, not deciding to go for an Observer, which is quite interesting. I think Hurricane has some sort of gauge of what herO's doing right now, so I guess he feels comfortable getting that War Prism for that Observer.
Okay, the War Prism, oh, spotted.
Oracle spotted. We'll see if that Phoenix chases that War Prism.
War Prism spotted as well. I mean, it's actually a bit tricky for both these guys. He drops the Adepts down here, but he's actually been zoned out here. Not quite doing enough damage, only killing off 2 probes. And these Stalkers and possibly the Mothership Core could even do a little bit more damage to this Adept.
Adept waddles into that expansion of Hurricane as we see the first Phoenix out for herO. Revelation on that War Prism, so he knows where that War Prism is going around the map, as both players just posturing themselves right now. herO has that tech, he's got those Phoenixes to hit on that War Prism, but Hurricane has that early expansion, so he get in lead, and there's Oracle just taking hot shots at these probes. 4 probes going down there for herO. Nice victory there for herO.
Yeah, Hurricane so far doing a decent job there with the defense. herO, you know, he's bouncing off a Hurricane like he's made out of rubber here. Now, herO's expand here is a little bit late. When we look at the worker count, you can see right now that a Hurricane, since he's had another Nexus up for longer, is a little bit more ahead when it comes to having more probes mining.
So we also have to consider that herO has got that tech up, he can get those upgrades quicker, and maybe there might be a timing where herO has those upgrades and Hurricane doesn't have his own upgrades. herO can exploit that timing and maybe do a lot of damage when he decides to attack, if he decides to do that.
Well, the main may be a little bit exposed. The Phoenixes could be hungry to get some probes coming up here now. We already see the pylon cannon activated. He's got another well-placed cannon if the Phoenixes do opt to come in from another angle. The shade now pokes in. does seem so far that Hurricane is basically safe against anything. I can't believe he actually sent this in. I guess he really needed to know exactly what was up. Well, he did see that Dark Shrine, by the way.
Yep, so he sees the Dark Shrine, so herO will make the appropriate adjustments to make sure that those Dark Templars don't do the damage that Hurricane wants to do with them. As we see Hurricane actually taking that third base as well, I guess he feels really comfortable right now in the position he's in, and seeing what herO has right now, using that Observer to scout out his base, he knows that it's pretty much safe to take an expansion.
Well, the airplay has not worked out incredibly well for herO, but he might be able to pick a good fight later on. He does have enough Phoenixes. I think Hurricane's going to have to stay back, continuing to turtle, and I think taking the third base that we're seeing up ahead, just now acquired by Hurricane, I think this is a smart move. herO's going to stay on 2 base, it looks like, at least for the time being, and eventually tech up getting more and more of these Immortals to come out here.
I love what Hurricane's doing right now. It's just basically playing hide and seek with those Phoenixes, because that is a lot of Phoenixes on the map.
Yeah, it is.
herO. So if that Warp Prism gets caught out, it just goes boom, it's gone. But unfortunately for herO, he hasn't actually been able to catch out the Warp Prism, as it actually drops these Adepts right now, doing some damage.
Oh, this is a great play here. Because those Phoenixes are out on the map, he can do a little bit more damage with these Adepts. He does not end up shading into the main here. So now the Phoenixes will get back over here and take out those remaining Adepts. He does at least cause some attention to be brought over here on this side of the map, but I don't think that was an attack that really paid for itself back there.
That was a really peculiar decision to cancel the shade there. I'm not sure
I think so, yeah.
Because I think if Hurricane managed to get those Adepts into the base of herO, he could have done a lot more probe damage, because
he would have done something.
The army was at the herO's army rather was at the expansion, so you know you got that little extra 5 seconds or so to do more damage, and I'm not really sure about the defense on Hurricane.
Well, the rocks have been torn down now. Hurricane locking off, at least from ground, this position if there is a possible attack. Seems as though herO's going to be moving out now on the map. There's been a lot of gateways finishing up right now over here for Hurricane.
Yep, as we see the +1 finishing for Hurricane, starting on that +2. herO's is barely nearly finished, as herO's just trading some Phoenixes for Stalkers.
I think it was a bit of a questionable play there as well by herO.
I guess herO thinks that because of Warp Prism's dead already, maybe Hurricane doesn't really want to harass anymore, so you know, just trading those Stalkers for those Phoenixes just to decrease the army size of Hurricane.
We got Zealot legs almost done here, with Archons being comboed in now with this army. Hurricane might have a very strong push coming up here.
For sure, and it's actually really interesting to see the dynamic of this game right now. We haven't actually seen any disruptors yet. Last week we saw a lot of disruptors, but both these players deciding to opt for a different plan towards this.
We might have disruptors later on. We're going to have to see. The way they've teched up so far, it seems like they might be staying on this for the time being. I think Hurricane's going to be initiating shortly here, because he has the Zealot leg speed upgrade, and he's going to have an additional attack upgrade a little bit sooner. I think by the time his army gets across the map, he will be able to push in. And I think the Zealot just barely misses the majority of that army moving out. Of course, moving into the main now, he'll see that since there's nothing there, obviously the only place his army could be would be a place he's pushing out.
And we see a Warp Prism out for Hurricane, and that +2 is about to hit for Hurricane. So I think we're going to see a timing attack here before herO's own +2 hits his units, as we see blinking forward from Hurricane. Those Stalkers doing damage to that expansion of herO.
Note the caution here, he's just out of range of any pylons hitting him. We see these pylons just now finishing up. So many Archons over here. He does begin to step back as the next warp-in does come in.
I'm not really sure what herO's trying to achieve, leaving those Phoenixes there, sitting there. Maybe he wants to snipe that Warp Prism so he stops those warp-ins of Hurricane.
Yeah, I think that's most likely what he wants to do. If he can just get around this army. He's got to stay out of range of the Archons, though.
Yeah, remember those Phoenixes are light units, and he actually decides to lift up instead of taking out that Warp Prism. Stalkers get, few Stalkers get out of that battle, but I think it would have been better
He's kited too well. Yeah, he's just kited way too well back there. And we even see well, hold up, a second pickup comes down here. He needs to get this other Immortal over here with the rest of his army. More Zealots warping in over here at the front. The Phoenixes keep picking up, and slowly these 5 Immortals are shaving off the remainder of the ground army. He needs to turn around right now.
Oh, I really love that herO used those Immortals so well to take out the Stalkers, and Hurricane's forced to come back to his base, and if you lose that he loses that War Prism, and he also loses that Immortal as well, so I think herO is posturing for a counterattack here.
Well, I mean, he certainly can do that, right? That does show you what the Phoenixes can do, even if you're a little bit behind in the ground army overall. I mean, the Immortal, in general, is just a good unit, okay? It can counter a lot of what the other Protoss player has to throw at him. I mean, it's not like they're great against Zealots, but it's not like they're terrible against them either.
Well, the thing is, those Immortals can actually just soak up those Zealot hits, and they can survive for so long, which means that in like big battles that we saw just before, they're really good at just soaking up damage. And you know, having a lot of those Immortals in your army is just good to play in general.
Yeah, and but that comboed with the Phoenixes picking up the other units allows the Immortals to always have these favorable fights as the game goes forward. We have a War Prism now coming down for herO. herO itching to possibly take out this third base as he focuses down these rocks.
See those Phoenixes also helping out here, knowing herOCane, knowing that he can't move his own War Prism into the battle as herO actually moves into this base, picks up those Immortals, so those Immortals are not in the battle right now, and herO's own Immortals doing quite a bit of damage now as a result of those Immortals being lifted up, but there's a lot of Archons and herO has to fall back right now.
All right, so the Time Warp's down there, but herOCane is not impressed. He keeps pushing forward here. We don't have any Phoenixes to help back this up, but we do have some more Zealots spilling down here. He needs to get those in the front so these Archons are not taking too much more damage. He backs up. I was a little bit surprised to see herOCane push past those rocks in that initial attack. His army was getting stuck in that bottleneck position.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that he decided to push forward because he had that defender's advantage where, you know, just letting herO into that choke as herO trying to snip away these Zealots again. But I don't think he'll be able to do that right now.
Okay, he's coming back now. And I don't think herO can actually get in and crack that. He doesn't have any reinforcements. I didn't see a War Prism with his army, right? There's nothing over there. Can you check for me? Yeah, there's no. Oh no, it's actually
that's herO's War Prism. So
that's herO's War Prism. Excuse me. Yeah. So he's gonna have to go back. Nice game so far. herOCane doing a good job, but neither player really able to get in and actually do any fatal damage. They've just been trading blows. This game, a bit of a bloodbath.
For sure, and see that War Prism actually having 2 Archons in it before, but not sure where that's gone. I'll check myself right now. Okay, so it's just with the army of herO. I think herO was intending on doing some harassment with that War Prism, with those 2 Archons, maybe just drop them on the probe lines just to do some damage, but it seems that right now both players are posturing technical fourth base, and I think we're going to see a long, drawn-out game.
Can you set that observer PC to be back to follow the... there we go. Thank you. So, as the game moves on, we have 2 more expansions being taken. Note that herOCane is expanding towards herO, indicating he's very comfortable with his army composition, and it is even told here in the supplies as well. We, on the other hand, herO expanding away, and I think that's actually what he's going to have to do in a moment like this.
For sure, like herO has to play catch up right now. As we see, the supply difference is around 40 supply in favor of herOCane, so the more time that herOCane gives to herO, we have to note that herOCane has the upgrade advantage right now with those +3 weapons. I'm not sure about herO's upgrades right now, but we see right now herOCane just harassing that 4th base, and herO does not want that because he needs to get back to this game quickly before herOCane maxes out and does a 200 attack.
Yeah, I think what herOCane has to do is just keep producing, right? Stay on top of upgrades, everything else like that. And yeah, when he maxes out, try to engage in. We do have disruptors coming out here. And this is where we get this really cool dance that happens in PvP. Now, he's got to be careful, especially with these clump Zealots over here in the front. He can actually do so much damage to him. He's pressing forward now. It's forcing herO into a bottleneck.
That's unfortunate for herO. They're losing that disruptor. Let's get that orb shot on. The orb shot actually goes off there on the Immortals, but it doesn't actually kill any units. But I think herOCane just has way too much stuff for herO to defend.
Yeah, here herOCane's continuing to press forward now. herO using his structures to try to stay back and use them for cover. It's really just these Immortals that are remaining. So many Archons and Stalkers spilling forward. Great control so far by herO, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough.
I don't think it is enough for herO right now. Those Immortals do lower damage, but herOCane rather has his own Immortals taking out these Immortals of herO. herO is in a lot of trouble right now, and I don't think he can defend this.
GG. Hurricane wins game number 1. Nicely done. A back and forth game, but ultimately Hurricane was always one step ahead. He just had that better unit composition, and he handled herO's pressure in the mid game there pretty effectively.
For sure. I mean, Hurricane playing a really impressive game there. As we see on screen now, the CJ coach, Orion, talking to herO right now, just talking about the game before, and I'm not really sure how herO's going to approach the second game. It's maybe he might go for the more economical build that Hurricane opted for the last game, because it doesn't feel like that the tech route did that much damage to allow herO to keep up with Hurricane once he expanded.
We also see Stork in the booth giving some advice. I'd say one of the best coaches in the business. He was such a fantastic player back in the day, and actually a great Starcraft 2 player as well.
When many people doubted how well he was doing Starcraft 2, he showed off a lot of people that they were wrong. And now the head coach for the Samsung team, and